Welcome to Gorgeous Truckers Podcast. It is your girl, Mia Millions, and I am excited that you decided to join us today. On this podcast, we explore a wide range of topics, such as what's happening in the transportation industry. We'll also be conducting interviews from current transportation professionals. Our goal is to provide you with thought-provoking content and insightful conversations that will help you along your journey in the transportation field. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to Gorgeous Truckers Podcast. Yes, it is your girl, Mia Millions, and we back with episode 2, y'all. Episode 2. Thank y'all so much for joining. Again, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in and just, man, keeping Gorgeous Truckers moving. Thank everybody that's been a part of Gorgeous Truckers. Thank you guys all on social media for sharing everything about Gorgeous Truckers. I truly appreciate you guys. While we are waiting for our guests to call in, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe on YouTube at gorgeoustruckhers.com, or actually it may be under Mia Millions with gorgeoustruckers.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms. Facebook, just look up Gorgeous TruckHers, as well as Instagram, again, Gorgeous TruckHers. Also, you can visit our website at www.gorgeoustruckhers.com. So while we're waiting on Terrence to call in, again, we're just beginning and we're just starting. So my goal is to try to have a segment every week where you guys get to kind of see all the people that's already in transportation, that's doing great things in transportation. We will have, again, people that's been in it for a while, from like the vets all the way to the rookies. We have some amazing interviews coming up with some amazing women, aka some gorgeous truckers. So I'm really excited for you guys to see those interviews. And I know sometimes a lot of people, I don't know if I want to say a lot of people, but people have kind of been confused about what Gorgeous Truckers is and what we do. So Gorgeous Truckers is the whole goal of Gorgeous Truckers is to just bring awareness about all the opportunities that are in transportation at the moment. So my goal is to start reaching out to all of the people that I know that are in transportation, and just so they can give you guys information, give you guys some guidance on your journey, those that are just brand new starting, or even those that are in it that are still kind of trying to figure things out. So that's what Gorgeous Truckers is. We're just a resource. We want to give all the information or try to help those that are trying to figure out their way in transportation. That's it. That's all. I'm just trying to spread the love, because again, it's enough for everybody to eat. So that's it. So again, make sure you guys go subscribe on YouTube. I had a blank on it. Make sure you guys go subscribe on YouTube, and then also again follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram. And again, you can visit us at www.gorgeoustruckhers.com. So we have a guest today by the name of Terrence, Terrence Wright. I haven't told him too much about you because I wanted you to kind of introduce yourself.
Okay.
But just to give you guys a little bit that I know about Terrence, he's been in the game for a while, so he's considered a vet. He got a baby face, but he's considered a vet in the game, So I'll let Terrence kind of introduce himself, and then we'll go from there. So Terrence, you want to tell the people about yourself?
Absolutely. Like Mia said, I've been in the game quite a while. I started out in the bus business. I did about 14 and a half years at Greyhound, and then followed that by a year in local transit. So, for me, transportation has just always been a passion of mine. I see myself doing anything different. How do I put it? I think I let this business kind of be a lifestyle to me. So for me, it's not just a 9 to 5 of coming in and going home.
Mm-hmm.
This is my lifestyle. It's what I do.
It is a lifestyle out here. I will say that. I always tell the funny story that when I got in transportation, I got into it by accident.
You got into it by accident?
By accident. It wasn't my goal to just be a driver. I was like, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be a driver. I'm gonna be in transport. It wasn't my goal. My goal and my what I wanted to do is radio, right? I went to school. I wanted to be in radio. I wanted to be an on-air personality. So look, which I'm still kind of doing now, but then I was a young mom and and I got into transportation around 24, 25.
I was 26.
And really there was not a lot of people getting into transportation in my age, but I had a goal. Like I was like, okay, if I can do this for this many years, and then I'm gonna start moving out and seeing what other avenues, and that's what happened. And I just got stuck in it. And I wouldn't say I got stuck in it. I really started enjoying the journey that transportation was taking me.
So you started with buses first too, kind of like how I did.
Yep. I actually started with school buses first.
Oh.
Yeah, I started with school buses first, and then I went into transit, and I drove for Pepsi.
Oh, like the trucks that they got.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And then I actually, I did Pepsi, and then I did CR England, which I didn't like them.
You wasn't feeling it?
No. And then when I did Greyhound, I enjoyed Greyhound when I drove for Greyhound, even though I was on the road. And
can I tell them that's how we met?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you formed our connection. So.
Yep. So as you guys, heard Terrence, he started in
buses.
No, buses. I'm sorry, motor coaches to be exact, right? So he started out with. Did you start out with a Class B? You had to have. That's how you started, right?
Yeah. Start off as a Class B driver.
Okay.
And then, to be honest with you, I did see myself doing trucks later in life, but I thought it was going to be later. Like once I got into Greyhound and really started enjoying it, we're not going to, talk about that forever. When I started enjoying it, I figured I would do that for about 20 years and then switch to trucking later. But along the way, the bus business kind of started changing, and I just got, the urge to do something different.
Okay.
And one thing I want to say though, I guess this is the right time. Like I got my CDL when I was 26, right? So I had made a promise to myself that for better or worse, I would not be driving no more than 26 years. So I'm about 15 years into buses. So, moving forward, that leaves me with about, 11 to 12 years.
Okay.
Left.
Okay.
Because I'm basically going to be using this business, as a springboard for my next phase.
Right. Okay. So you have a plan, which is, I think,
absolutely
that's how you're supposed to do it. I think having a plan, and then executing it, or at least going into something with okay, I know I'm gonna do this for this many years, and then I'm gonna do this. So I think that's a really good way to navigate in transportation.
And I think that when you come into the trucking field, with transportation, period, if you have a plan and you know why you're doing what you're doing, it makes the job a lot easier.
Yeah.
So like when I have moments where, whether it's the bus or the truck, when I have moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm never home. And the trucking lifestyle gets kind of gritty, to be honest with you. We hear a lot of people talk about like, the money, the six figures, and to a certain extent, the prestige, because when people know that you're a trucker, that's a kind of a position that people kind of look up to in a way. But I feel like underneath that, there's like sacrifice that goes into this. For example, like, being a man and it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, you have to park a mile back from like the actual rest area, right?
Right.
Use the bathroom.
Oh, use the bathroom.
Yeah. So, but this is the sacrifice. You hear about, oh, you're gonna make so much money in the business. You are, but it's some things along the way that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, when my lease is up, I'm gonna be one of those truckers that get rid of my apartment and I'll be living off of my truck.
Right.
Yeah, because I seen that in your first video where you were talking to the man, and he was more of a local driver.
Yep.
And I heard you made a comment. You said, well, some people live out of their truck and they hit that road hard.
Mm-hmm.
When my lease is up, that is my full intention.
That's the goal.
No rent, no car payment,
Just
no
stack
this,
your
no
money.
that. That money is going straight into the bank.
Yeah. So what would you say, since you've kind of had your hand in both, right? You've had your hand in
Yeah,
buses and now you've had your hand in the trucks. What
absolutely.
would you say is the biggest difference?
I'm glad you asked me that question. I would say before I did trucking, I was just, you know me, I was a great bus.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my passion. That was my childhood dream job. But I feel like sometimes in life, when you get your dream, you have to know like when it's time to move past that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the bus was what I wanted. The truck is what I need, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I know eventually when I start making the money that you make in this business, that's what I need out of life. The bus was okay. The bus to me was more convenient because, you get home a lot more, like maybe every 2 days, every other day when you have a run.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say one advantage of the bus business is you get home a whole lot more. With this truck, the company I'm with, when I go out, I'm out for about 3 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it's supposed to go, keyword being supposed.
Oh, so yeah.
You do 3 weeks out and you get 3 days at home. But when I come home, it turns into like a week.
That you're home.
Yep.
Now that's by choice?
Yeah, because I just like get stuff together in my house, and I figure, look, if I'm paying rent, I'm going to be in my house a week out of the month.
Mm-hmm.
1 week, you know what I mean? Where I'm at today at this far in my career, I like trucks a whole lot better. I feel like I have more peace of mind with it because towards the end of my time with buses, it was just different little things starting to take place on there. And now that I'm on my truck, when I come out the rest area, I put my key in the lock and get in, I take off.
Yeah.
So it's like a lesser degree of responsibility to a point, because I don't have all these people behind me,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm responsible for.
Yeah. So being on the road now by yourself versus having all of those people behind you, do you enjoy being alone more than you did with having the passengers?
One thing I would say that I noticed that with the truck, there are moments where it feels like I'm kind of losing. I don't want to say losing my focus necessarily, but it's like I have to do more to stay like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas with the bus, you always heard someone. There's always some kind of movement going on. And now that I'm on my truck, it's like it's literally just me in the road.
Yeah.
So it's better in the sense that I don't have to deal with the bad aspect of having passengers, but the flip side is you do have moments of loneliness. Like, man, I'm literally just me out here.
Yeah. Do you feel like that has any type of effect on your mental health?
Okay, for me, I'm gonna say it helps because Mia, you're on my Facebook, so you see like once a month or so, I meet up with a family member in a different state, either a family member or a close friend. So for me, the way that I run my truck and the way that I route myself, it's almost like I'm not always, I'm by myself when I'm driving the truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when I do my 34-hour resets, I plan it where I'm somewhere where I can see a cousin, a friend from high school.
Yeah, you can put eyes on somebody that's familiar to you.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you're gonna laugh at this. My very first trip as a trucker, I picked my truck up in Phoenix. And I was going from Phoenix to Flint, Michigan. Am I allowed to say where you're from?
Yeah.
Mia? Okay, yeah. I was going through Kansas City. So my friend actually lives in Kansas City. She came up I pulled off the highway. She told me, "Oh, exit 204, just go off, it's down the block, and I'll come see you." So,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like my first time seeing her in about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And I think that accommodates for me being, gone the way that I am.
So you went from buses to trucks. Now,
Mm-hmm.
did anybody, like, how did you actually navigate into that?
Well, my grandfather actually was a truck driver. My dad's dad,
Mm-hmm.
he drove trucks. So in some ways, I think driving is just in the blood for me. But I actually did know quite a few people. Most of my friends are like owner operators.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of my friends, he did trucking he was a company driver like 2 years. And then he took that step to get into being an owner operator. Fast forward to now, this man is making $250,000 moves in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Buying property. He ended up purchasing a business. And this is stuff he's doing with his extra money.
Right.
So when I started seeing that, I'm like, dude, you're out here with, doing the bus or whatever. And it's like, you can use your skill to start moving this freight across this country. And, eventually I'll be making double of what I'm making.
Right. Right.
If I made 50 at my peak in buses with trucks, like, listen, you could make 100,000 a year. I know people, no lie, their truck is making $250,000 a year.
Right now, I know you're with the company. I'm not going to say the company,
Mm-hmm.
but would you ever go into being an owner operator? Is that an avenue you've considered going into, or no? I've heard people, I see some people
Mm-hmm.
like, no, right now it's just not the time to do it. And then I hear some people saying now is the time to get into it. So what's your thoughts about that?
The way that I look at it, I think I want to stay company for, I'll say the next 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to build a cushion for myself. Because see, when you're an owner operator, just as much comes in, a high amount of that goes back out. You know what I mean? So if you're making 190,000 a year, for example, or your truck does, 100,000 of that is back into your truck, whether it's your payment, your fuel, insurance. You got to pay your own taxes, and then you have to have money set aside in case of like repairs. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So I don't want to jump into being an owner operator where I'm touching a lot of money, but I might not be, seeing a lot of it as profit.
Yeah.
So I would rather just save, and then once I get to a certain level, where whether the truck does what I want it to or not, I know I got XYZ behind me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I made as a company driver. So that's kind of like where I'm at with that. But eventually the goal is to get my own truck.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll just tell you this, because I'm telling you my dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know they say manifest quietly, but I'm the opposite. I manifest openly. The vision that I got is when I do get my own truck, I'll drive it for a few years. And then I want to hire somebody else into the business to run my truck for me. And they'll become a owner.
Okay.
So they won't just be driving my truck. Like if they give me like so many years of service, they'll get a percentage of the company. So that's a way to make sure that we keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. So being a trucker, I'm gonna get into some fun questions. So being a trucker,
yes.
What are some interesting stories that you didn't know until you actually got into trucking? Like something that you was like, wait, this is what goes on out here? Like what's some stories that you can tell?
Oh God. In other words, you want to hear about the transvestite Lot Lizzard?
I don't care. It's whatever you didn't know about that until you got out there. Now I know about Lot.
Okay, I knew about Lot Lizards. Okay, I hadn't heard about it, but I wasn't expecting to be woken up at 6 in the morning. I'm just in my truck sleeping, minding my business. Knock, 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 knock. Now, people had already told me, don't knock. Whatever you do, don't knock, right? I mean, don't answer.
Don't answer, yeah.
But I'm like, what if it's if they knock, don't answer. I'm like, it could be the police. It could be a worker tell me I got to move my truck. So I'm like, I got to at least check. So I pulled my curtain back just a little bit. And then I'm like, yes, can I help you? Okay, so I opened the window, my curtain, and the guy just told me he was looking for his cousin and that they were engaging in adult activities.
Okay.
So I'm still trying to understand, like, what does that got to do with my truck? So next I know, they're basically, she was like, well, you're not married, are you? I was like, I didn't want to answer that. I'm like, if I say I'm by myself,
First off,
it could be some kind of criminal intent. So I'm just like, if I just said, no, I'm not married or whatever. She's like, well, is there anything I could do for you? I was like, no, I'm pretty good. I'm good. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm positive. And at that point is when I had to close the curtain.
Yeah, that's funny. So they was at your window like this. You want some company?
Yeah.
You looking for some company? Are you lonely? That's funny. So. Since you've been, how long have you been in trucking now?
I'm coming up on 8 months total, but 6 months that I've been on my own.
Okay.
So 2 months training, and I've been out about 6 months.
Yeah. So okay. So you're almost at a year in trucking.
Absolutely.
But overall in transportation, it's been what, 18, 19?
Altogether, I've had my CDL about 16 and a half years.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever wanted to go into any other area of transportation, like dispatch or the freight side, or not the freight, the logistics side or anything like that?
The logistics, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is that
you can tell, like, I like numbers.
Yeah.
I love crunching numbers. So
is that still on your to-do list?
When I own my own company.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Yeah, because I'll be the one that will try to run it.
Yeah. So being on the road, even in trucking, buses and trucking, because you were still on the road in both. So
absolutely.
How did that affect? Because I don't know your status. How did that, or did it affect your relationship?
It can be. You have to be with the right person. That's a big part of it. They have to be on the same page that you are. I feel like if you're with a person who is not ready to make the sacrifice with you, I won't say you can't do it, but it will be difficult. Because, there's going to be a lot of nights you're not going to be home.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of birthday parties. You're not going to be putting the cake on the table.
Yeah.
You're not going to be jumping out from behind the furniture because you're going to be on the road with your truck or your bus. So it could definitely put a strain. I actually was in a relationship when I started my bus career. And put it this way, I think being away from home, since I wasn't with the right type of person, it ended up, yeah.
I could see that. Okay. If you were already in a relationship where trust is a issue.
Issues. Yeah.
Going on the road is just going to ruin. It's definitely going to make it crumble all apart because you already got trust issues. So now you got somebody that you don't trust that's on the road. You don't know what they're doing, who they with.
They got opportunity. You got opportunity.
They got a ton of opportunity out there.
So do you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the driver who's out does, and then your family you leave at home.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, yeah, you're right. It definitely depends on the person and the relationship dynamics, I think.
Oh,
yeah. So we're almost 30 minutes in. So what advice would you give to new drivers?
Do not, capital letters, get into this business for the money. Don't come here just for the money.
Okay.
You have to come. You have to come here. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know if someone tried to call me, but you have to get into this with the love for the road, because doing it just for the money, that's not gonna keep you awake. Like at 2, 3 in the morning. What's gonna keep you awake is having passion for what you're doing, knowing that you have to be responsible. Whether it's a bus or a truck, you're responsible for 70 to 55 feet of equipment. That has to be something that you feel here.
I think money can be a good thing to look at,
Mm-hmm.
but I also feel like people coming into it should also know that you're not going to make as much as everybody is saying that you're going to make your first couple of years in. You got to work your way up into that. However, I feel like coming in as a starting rookie, you can
Mm-hmm.
find a company that's paying, 55, 60,000 the first year. So to
You
some
can.
people, that's really good money when they coming from doing something that's kind of dead end. So I feel like money
Yeah.
that's something you do kind of want to look at when you're going into a new
No,
career.
I didn't say don't let it motivate you, but don't let that be your driving force. When they recruit you, they tell you, "Oh, you're gonna make 110,000 a year, right?" So you just jump into it. Oh, I'm about to make 100,000 a year, and that's the only thing you're thinking of.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not bragging, but I'm a natural driver, so the driving part wasn't the hard part.
Hmm.
But once you back into that dock and you open that trailer up, feel from top to bottom, it
Hmm.
almost makes you want to cry
Hmm.
because you're just like, what?
You got to unload all of
and
that.
and I wasn't on the no touch account. I was on the touch freight account. So that means you got to pull that rotator out. I'm little. You see my wrist? I'm little. When you pull that thing out, especially because a lot of these docks are at like an angle, you pull one of them, here comes 10 of them.
Hmm.
I'm pushing with all my might.
You struggling?
I'm like, this thing is about to kill me. So yes, it said 110,000 on paper, but it's like, what do you have to do to get it?
Yeah.
Not it's not the, so this is what I'm getting at. Don't just see money. So I ended up going over the road, and it put me in a slightly different money category, but it's more my speed.
Yeah.
But there's probably some people out there that would still do it just for the money, and they tearing themselves up. Like, someone got to do it. So I'm not telling nobody to do those dollar
Yeah.
accounts, but
You're gonna work for it.
don't hurt yourself trying to be something you're not when you can
You're
do
gonna work
something
for it.
maybe a little bit different, but
Yeah.
still, yeah.
Okay. So rapid fire.
Okay.
Um, calling or texting? Quick.
Call.
What do you love eating on dates?
Ice cream.
Pie or cake?
Pie.
Um, work from home or the office?
Office.
What is your dream car?
Hummer.
And what food could you not live without?
Pasta.
Pasta. I'm a pasta
Yeah.
eater. I like pasta.
I live for pasta.
And
I
potatoes.
can eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I'm the same way. All right, so that was rapid fire. Thank you, Terrence, so much for being a part
Absolutely.
of the Gorgeous Truckers family. We truly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day, because I know this is your off time right now. You're probably supposed to be asleep right now.
No. I'm good. I
Thank
told you I'll be the bad boy. I'm supposed to be back and work in 3 days. It ain't gonna be 3 days, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, I appreciate you taking your time period out of your day to come and hang out with Gorgeous Truckers. And thank you for just offering not only your story, but your support and your
Hmm.
words of wisdom. I definitely appreciate that. And I'm sure my gorgeous truckers viewers appreciate it as well. So you have
Absolutely.
any words of wisdom that you want to leave with?
Transportation is a way out, basically. This is a job where you're kind of your own boss. As long as once you get your training and follow it just to a certain extent, as far as like your speed, your logging, you're your own boss. This business gives you the freedom that you need, where you set your tone. There's times where I want to start in the morning. I run my truck in the mornings. For a whole week, I'll be like, I'm tired of it. I switch to nighttime.
Yeah.
As long as you get your load where it's going, they're not going to at least the company I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
They don't question you. They don't. How come you started in the morning instead of the night? They don't bother you.
Yeah.
And you have so much. Even though I told you earlier, don't get in it for the money. Get in it for the money. Because once I get rid of my apartment, once I get rid of this apartment and start stacking the dollars, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, by year 10, I'll be in a pretty spot.
Yeah.
And I want to see some of y'all out there make it.
Mm-hmm.
Get out here, make this money, keep the country moving, keep the country flowing, and at the same time, do something to better yourself.
Thank you so much. And you guys heard it from Mr. Terrence. He's a vet in the game, but he's new in the trucking world. So he gave his perspective and how he's been kind of transitioning on his journey. So again, the point of Gorgeous Truckers is to listen to these interviews and take their situations and mold it into your own personal journey. And that's what Gorgeous Truckers is here for. If you need some advice, you need a little bit of coaching or some guidance, reach out to Gorgeous Truckers. And we have extended family of Gorgeous Truckers, which is where Terrence is, and we're all here to help you along your journey. So again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Terrence, for joining. I truly appreciate you. And you guys take care.